The harsh reply. Part 2. The last warning. The knock at the door sent a chill down Sarah's spine. Her father's warning echoed in her mind. Don't trust anyone who comes looking for you. She held her breath, listening. Another knock, louder this time. She glanced at her phone. No messages, no calls. Whoever was outside didn't want to be announced. Slowly, she moved toward the window, staying low. Peeking through the curtain, she saw a man standing under the porch light. He was dressed in a dark coat, his hands buried in his pockets. Sarah's pulse pounded in her ears. Should she answer? Should she run? She backed away from the window and grabbed her father's letter again, her fingers trembling as she reread the last words. If you get a message from me after I'm gone, it means they've already started. Another knock. A shadow moved behind the man, a second figure, barely visible in the dim light. Sarah's breath hitched. They weren't alone. She moved quickly, flipping the deadbolt into place. Her heart raced as she backed away. Then crack. The sound of splintering wood made her scream. They weren't waiting for an invitation, they were breaking in. The escaped Sarah turned and ran. Her mind screamed for her to grab a weapon, to fight, but her instincts screamed louder. Get out. Now. She sprinted through the kitchen, yanking open the back door just as she heard the front door slam open. Heavy footsteps. Multiple people. She dove into the night, running through the rain-slicked grass, her breath ragged. A shout erupted behind her. She's running. A gunshot cracked through the air. A sharp whiz passed her ear too close. She gasped and ducked, zigzagging as she bolted toward the dense trees behind her house. Thunder rumbled overhead as she pushed through the thick brush, branches whipping at her arms. The adrenaline burned through her muscles, but she couldn't stop. Who were they? Why were they after her? And what had her father been trying to warn her about? She needed answers. But first she needed to survive. The safe house. After what felt like an eternity, Sarah stumbled onto an empty road. Her legs ached, her lungs burned, but she couldn't stop moving. She fumbled for her phone and dialed the only number she could think of. It rang twice before a groggy voice answered. Sarah? It was Jake, her father's old friend, a name she hadn't thought of in years. "Two need help," she panted. "Please." There was silence on the other end. Then, "Where are you?" She gave him the nearest street sign. "Stay put," he said. "I'm coming." The line went dead. Sarah shivered, looking around. The night felt too quiet. The rain had stopped, but a thick fog curled along the pavement, swallowing the distant streetlights. She glanced back toward the woods. Had they followed her? Headlights appeared down the road, cutting through the mist. A battered pickup truck rolled to a stop beside her. The driver's side door opened, and Jake stepped out. He looked older, rougher grayer beard, deep lines on his face, but his eyes were sharp. "Get in," he said. Sarah hesitated. Her father's warning rang in her ears again. Don't trust anyone who comes looking for you. But she had no other choice. She climbed in, slamming the door behind her. Jake didn't speak as he pulled onto the road, driving in tense silence. Only when they were miles away did he finally ask, "Did you get the message?" Sarah turned to him, her pulse spiking. "What message?" He exhaled, gripping the wheel. "Then we don't have much time." The truth uncovered. Jake's safe house was a rundown cabin deep in the woods, far from any main roads. It smelled of old wood and cigarette smoke. He bolted the door behind them and turned to face her. "Your father didn't just disappear because of debts, Sarah," he said. "He was running from something bigger, something dangerous, and now they know you exist." She swallowed. "Who?" Jake hesitated. "A group your father used to work for. They don't forgive, and they don't forget." She stared at him. "My father was a criminal?" Jake let out a humorless laugh. "No, worse. He pulled out his phone and scrolled through a few images before handing it to her. Sarah's stomach flipped. It was a photograph, grainy, old but unmistakable. Her father, standing next to a man she did recognize. A man who had been all over the news recently. A government official. A high-ranking one. Her voice barely came out. What was he involved in? Jake exhaled. Your father wasn't running from criminals, Sarah. He was running from the people who are supposed to protect us. Sarah's hands shook. What do they want from me? Jake hesitated. They think you have something. Something your father left behind. She blinked. I don't. I didn't even talk to him before he died. Jake leaned forward, eyes dark. Then why did his phone send you a text after he was already dead? The question sent a shiver through her. She didn't have an answer, but she was about to find out. The final message Jake led her into the back room where an old laptop sat on a wooden desk. Your father was paranoid, he said. He kept things hidden. If he left you a message, it wasn't just a warning, it was a clue. He handed her the laptop. Check your messages again. Her fingers trembled as she opened her phone. The text from her father stared back at her. Sarah, I need to see you. Please. Her throat tightened. Jake watched her. Try opening it on the laptop. She hesitated, then forwarded the text to herself and opened it. The screen flickered. Then, a second message appeared, one she had never seen before. It wasn't in words, it was a set of coordinates. Sarah's heart pounded. What is this? Jake's face hardened. It's where we need to go next. Outside, the wind howled through the trees. But Sarah knew it wasn't just the wind. Someone was out there, watching, waiting, and they weren't going to let her walk away. To be continued, click the link to watch the next episode to The Harsh Reply. If you like content like this, please subscribe and press the like link to help our channel out. Thank you for watching.